When you wake up in the morning, you have a tendency to remember whatever it is that you were focusing on the day before. And that's just natural because time doesn't exist. So from night till morning, you have the memory, you've created a concept that you fell asleep and that something's going to refresh and restart in the morning. Now, if you say it's going to be refreshed and something's going to be different in the morning, then yes, you will have that experience. Well, however you fall asleep, whatever you're thinking and feeling and believing is the way that you wake up in the morning, because there is no time. That period of what you experience as sleep and reset is just a construct that we manifest in saying that our bodies need it to function and to feel better and whatever, but we actually really don't need it. We just believe we do. I'm not talking about physical 3D worlds examples. I'm talking metaphysically that everything is a construct. There are no exceptions to this. Because, and if this is you, and trust me, like I know this was so me, you have been habitually addicted to identifying with time. And you think that time is calling the shots. It feels like everything is being ran by a clock. And why I bring the sleep part up is because when you wake up in the morning, a lot of people say they wake up feeling sad or another day they don't have what they want or whatever. And yeah, you can just change your mindset and then just say, no, I do have what I want, whatever. But it just doesn't change anything overall because you're going to keep experiencing it every day. No matter how much you affirm all day, you're just going to keep repeating this pattern of waking up feeling like nothing's changing because you're still identified with linear time. So what's really important to understand is you're not waiting. I want to encourage you to let that sink in farther than asking questions. Well, how do I fix it? What do I do? It's not about fixing it. You don't got to fix time. You don't have to fix yourself from looking at time. It's about knowing who you are. And who you are is timeless. Because there's only the ever-present moment. Time was never an issue. It was just your belief in it that was ruling your life. And I know, depending on where you are with your level of awareness, you might have a million questions about this. And it's okay. But I want you to understand that all the questions, yeah, what about my boss? What about my bills? What about my rent need to be paid on time? What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? That's all coming from that programming of time. And you got to let that go. I'm going to keep adding to this video about tips on stepping back away from this habitual addiction to time. One of the things that would really sink further that helped me embody the timeless nature that I am was, one, I removed myself from almost all social media. Two, I stopped studying more metaphysics. And it's so tempting because it's so interesting and everything. I have so many books that I haven't even read and I've ordered because I just was telling myself that I love it and I enjoy it. But little did I know, I was keeping myself stuck. I was keeping myself stuck and trapped in still time. So it felt like all of these time-related things had a really hold on me. Where you start is with recognizing that you know that time is an illusion, right? But then you start identifying with your timeless nature, right? That I am timeless, that I'm in this 3D, but my priority, here's the catch, my priority is not how do I function in 3D, because that's where a lot of your questions come from, like, well, I got to do this, I got to do that, right? It's not about how do I function in 3D because we're here. It's about less of that, because I know that's where a lot of you guys want to ask, right? It's less of that and more of identifying with who you really are, that you are timeless energy, that is what you are. And allowing yourself to sink into that identity more than what do I do? Okay, and that's where you want to start. Waiting is not the same as allowing. Waiting implies that you're waiting for something to come to you. You're waiting for a package, you're waiting for someone to contact you, you're waiting for information. That's waiting, and waiting is frustrating, and no one likes waiting. If you're the energy of waiting, ask yourself, is it coming from because I don't know? Is it coming from because you're anticipating something that you're not sure about? Do you see? Waiting implies not only time, but it implies that you don't know. So waiting is not the same thing as allowing. Allowing is allowing the thing that you have within you to express itself from you. When you decide that you are something, that you have something, that's coming from a place that you know that if you can feel it or see it in your mind, in your imagination, that's your evidence. Feeling it or seeing it or declaring it is knowing. Knowing is the same thing. That's the same thing. So when you know something, you're just allowing what's already true, what's already done, what's already created to express itself out from you. It's not coming to you. Nothing is coming to you. No one is coming to you. It's coming from you. You're expressing it as that person that has it. That's the whole reason for a technique. You don't have to do techniques, but that's the whole reason for a technique, like imagining something real, feeling it real, or declaring it. It's not to make it happen. It's to remind you that you already have it. It's not just feeling. Is if you can imagine yourself as something or having something, that's knowing. That's the evidence that it's already done. It's already real. Otherwise, you couldn't come up with it in your mind. You couldn't have imagined it. So if you close your eyes right now and imagine your desire, whatever that is, say it to yourself within. Say whatever it is that you want. Say it but quietly, not with your mouth. Just close your mouth, close your eyes, and say it. Go ahead and say it now. And notice you didn't say anything out loud, but not only did you also were able to hear yourself say it. So who was saying that and who was hearing it? That was all you. So that's your knowing. That's your proof. That's your evidence that you are it. And it's coming out of you. So you're not waiting. You're allowing it to express out from you, from that knowing. That knowing is now expressing it. So you're allowing it by not contradicting it, by saying, where is it? Because where is it? You're still thinking it's coming to you. Do you see? If you're still saying, where is it? It's been this long, it's taken so long, or how's it going to come? You still think it's going to come to you, that there's something out there coming to you. There's nothing out there. It's not coming to you. It's coming out of you. One idea that I want to talk about waiting is we got to talk about what your mind is already used to. The mind is already used to time, and you're programmed and have been conditioned to believe in time. Okay, we're not here to fight it, and we don't have to insist that it doesn't exist. We're here to be aware of where you already are. So anytime that your mind wants to feel certain about something, like it wants that word conviction or the knowing that something is true, what is it going to do? It's going to look into the past experiences for evidence in time that you are familiar with, so that you can then feel a certainty or a conviction or a knowing that what you're deciding or choosing or imagining yourself to be is true. And because it cannot develop any past sensory, whether that's physical, emotional, or otherwise, or any memories, any data, right? Let's say that you've never been wealthy, or you've never had your dream body, or you've never been married, or whatever it is that you're desiring, or you've never owned a yacht or whatever. The first thing you're going to do when you imagine it and choose it, you're going to feel like, yeah, I know that there's infinite possibilities, but that still doesn't cut it, because the mind's saying it's locked in. It's just like, you don't have any history of this for you to be even, it's not even true for you. So let's say you affirm it, you choose it, and then you or whatever, you imagine it, right? And you have a hard time imagining it, or you can't picture it, or you can't feel it. This is why. Because the mind goes back into time looking for evidence or looking for proof, right? Even if with a feeling as proof, with an experience as proof, or with something in your life as proof to cling on to give you the permission to go ahead and believe that it's true. If we were only selecting based off of what we know in our own personal history, then we're very limited, aren't we? We're only limited to the pool of experiences and thoughts that we know. This is a very subtle and sophisticated way that the mind plays with you based off of your past. If you're asking for something that you've never experienced before, and let's say you've only seen it on a movie, or you see other people having something that you would desire, but you and no one else you know in your whole life has ever experienced that, that's okay. You don't have to have a feeling of conviction, a feeling of knowing, a feeling. Knowing is just knowing. Knowing doesn't require anything. Just like it's knowing is the truth. What is the truth? That you choose whatever you want, and your choice is the knowing. You see videos about, give me 10 minutes of your time, give me 2 minutes of your life, give me 39 minutes of your time, and I'll tell you everything you need to know about this subject. And I even see ones about, it took me 50 years to figure out what life was all about. It took me all this time to figure this stuff out, like, you know, those kind of videos. It's a big trend right now. And because I even considered doing one, and I'm just like, no, I'm not going to be like everybody else. I'm going to just do my own thing. But what I do want to say about that is what you want to know, right? If the best advice that I could give you after living, you know, up until now, what I know in my life is, and this is going to sound a little harsh, but give me a second, to not give a fuck about what anybody thinks about you, literally. To not give a fuck about what anyone thinks about you, about your choices, about what you're doing and what you're not doing, and to not give a fuck about what your own thoughts are telling you, not even what your own body's telling you. To not give two fucks about that. And what I mean by that is, by you choosing what you want, and you're going to notice all the backlash from your own thoughts, your own feelings. People are just like, don't ask people's permission. Don't ask anyone, what do you think? Like, just drop that. Because the reason so many people feel like they're waiting for things is because you're so used to getting validation from other people. You're used to getting validation from society, from your family. You're used to getting validation from your own thoughts and your feelings. So that gets you into that feeling that you're waiting, because you're waiting for the 3D to validate your choice. You're waiting for your conditions to change. If you're waiting, you're saying that the 3D is not a reflection. You're saying that the 3D and people and everything in it actually have free will, and they're an authority that they'll get around to you when they have time. That's what I mean. You don't want to give two fucks about what anyone thinks, what the 3D's saying, nothing, because the 3D is a reflection. It's not something that you negotiate with. But I totally understand, you guys, because I was a queen of needing validation, and I needed to be validated, you know, to have people tell me that I'm making the right decision, that I'm making the right move, that this is the best step. For life changes, for if I was trying something in a dressing room with my friends, I'm like, is this good? Does this look good? It's like I constantly needed the validation, right? I used to need the validation from men to tell me that I was pretty. Or that so that I can then feel wanted. And then I was just like, yeah, atta girl, like, keep going, like, keep like doing what you're doing, keep working out, keep buying those clothes, keep whatever. It's like, that's right, that's a good girl. It's like almost like feeling like that. Like, I didn't view myself, my opinion about myself, as enough, and I needed it from someone else. That included with a degree that I went to school for. Like, I needed the internet to validate my decision that that was the best course of action for me to take for a secure future for income. I needed Google to tell me that that was smart. I needed my family and friends to accept my choice. Do you see, we're taught, we're so programmed to be validated. No, there's no wonder why we experience the illusion of waiting, because there's no waiting. It's just you and you. And that's why you want to not give a fuck about what anybody thinks about what you want, what you like, what you don't want. When it comes to you, you don't need anyone to validate your permission. Like when I'm out with my family or my friends, or especially not so much my friends, because my friends totally get me, but it's more so with like a lot of some certain family members, and they tell me things like, well, you should do this, or you really need to do this, and I just sit there and I get quiet. I don't argue with them. Before, I'd be like, don't tell me what I should and shouldn't be doing. Yeah, I don't need to be needing to do nothing, and I'd get defensive. And now I just get quiet, because I don't give a shit what they think about me. They can have their opinions all they want, and if they don't like it, I don't care. because I'm that sure and secure in my decisions, and my energy is my only priority. The way that I feel, my energy is the only priority. And I wanted to share this little story that I heard recently about, I forgot his name, but he's a Japanese billionaire, and he became a billionaire, and he really believed that the higher the energy, or the more energy you exuded, that wealth was very attracted to that. He didn't talk about law of attraction, law, blah, 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 blah. So don't get all twisted about this, okay? But he believed that the world was here for us to learn about our soul, about our energy. And the more energy that you exuded, he said, that wealth just came to that. And it doesn't mean about high vibe and being positive. That's not what he was talking about. He was talking about really seeing yourself as having everything. He was talking about aligning to the universe. Like, his purpose was never about money. His purpose was, he wanted to share with the world that their energy and how they looked at themselves and how they looked at life, and they realized that they're bigger than this world and money and your body and stuff and SPs, that you're much bigger than that. That's what he was talking about. He was always focused on that kind of thinking, that we're bigger than everything and that we're one with everything. So he automatically was aligning to all that is. And so he became very wealthy, so much so that Japan Airlines, when they were about to go bankrupt, they hired him to save the airlines, to save Japan Airlines. And you guys can Google this and look it up for yourself. It's a cool story. But anyway, and so he did not use marketing strategies. He didn't use a typical ads and all business strategies to save the airline. He skipped all that shit and went right to the people. And what he did is he worked with the people to increase their energy. In other words, their awareness that they are bigger, capable, powerful, that they are everything. I don't know exactly what he said to them, but he basically taught the airline employees what he was practicing. And so he raised everyone's energy, raised everyone's vibration, if you want to, not by being happy and positive. Get out of that shit. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy talk. Being high vibe, happy all the time. That is absolute batshit crazy stuff. Okay, no one can maintain that. So he made them more aware that they were powerful and that they were part of something big and wonderful, and that there was so much for them in this world. And that's how he saved Japan Airlines from going bankrupt. And they became a top leading airline in the industry just by him working with the people and seeing and helping them see that they were bigger than what they were being told or led to believe or whatever. So it was more about increasing your awareness of the energy that you are. It's like everything is energy, okay? So we're just becoming more aware that we are all power. We're not increasing our power, we're not increasing our vibe, we're not increasing our energy, so to speak. We're just becoming more aware that we are this humongous, this infinite amount of energy. And the more that you become aware of it, just by making that your priority, right? It's just like everything just naturally is magnetized to you. All your desires, any affirmation you ever did, any little slightest thought you have is automatically drawn to you because you become so magnetic. You become aligned or one with all that is, with God, source, the universe, right? You realize that you are in God, yet you are in source, and that source is in you, that there's just no separation whatsoever between you and anything and anyone ever. Yeah.